Time for Alamogordo Town News on Crazy Radio. I'm Anthony Lucero. When it comes to news on 95.1 FM, weather always comes first. Typhoon Balavan continues on its trek. Meanwhile, a storm developing over the plains will enhance showers and storms, along with heavy rainfall threats for the Central Plains later this week. Another storm developing in the Gulf of Mexico is forecast to bring some heavy rainfall from the deep south through Florida later this week as well. Closer to home, sunshine through at least Tuesday. Temperatures in the mid-70s to upper 80s. We'll have another look at the weather following this news. At last night's City Commission meeting, there was a presentation on asking the city to support the efforts to help New Mexico obtain coverage under the Radiation Exposure Compensation Act. Mary White, a steering committee member, spoke.
Our ask is that you consider doing a resolution or a proclamation in support of our efforts, as have the Western States governors, the full New Mexico House and Senate, our full congressional delegation, J.D. Vance, Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio, Marsha Blackburn, and some other very heavy hitters. We ask you very kindly to consider doing that.
Since this was just a presentation, no action could be taken, but the mayor seemed interested in exploring this further. White points out that there are 19 known cancers tied to radiation exposure by nuclear testing. 2001 Dewey Lane is so ruined, dilapidated, and damaged it's become a menace to public comfort, health, peace, and safety. The city is ordering its abatement.
The patchwork that has been done is already showing signs of separating. The walls are already separating from the mortar on the southeast corner, where he's actually it faces west. I'm sorry, southwest corner, where it faces west. There's already separation from the mortar mix to the actual cinder block already. As far as the roof goes, where that property is zoned per ordinance, a licensed contractor has to pull a permit and do that roof. A licensed contractor has to do any work on that property because it is a commercial property per our ordinance. So I'm not taking away from anything he's done. He's done a lot of work. It just needs to be permitted first and follow ordinance, which hasn't been yet.
For whatever reason, Commissioner Josh Reardon requested the contractor's license number, very irregular and uncalled for. Hey, Commissioner, what's your Social Security number? A call to rescind this was voted 2-4. There was a discussion on allowing handouts at commission meetings on the agenda.
I didn't ask for this to even be on the agenda. I was told it would be on there in my name, but I just, at the last meeting, a gentleman handed out a handout before the meeting, prior to it even starting, and it was removed from us. I had asked the question of when that rule became a rule, when the commission adopted it, and it turned into a pretty heated exchange. So I just wanted information of when we adopted that rule. So, but we can have a discussion, but it's not an action item. So
do we need to discuss this?
Not really.
Cool, settled.
My issue at the last meeting with the handout was if the gentleman would have read the handout to us at the podium during unscheduled communications, what's the difference between him giving it to us or reading it to us? We violated his First Amendment right. So.
No, we didn't.
We did.
No, we didn't.
I think because you don't like the gentleman that handed it out?
The difference is that if he hands something to us, how do we prove that he didn't hand us a sticky note or some kind of little subliminal message on there? How do we prove that?
What do you mean?
What if he handed you the handouts and yours had a sticky note on it, or Stevens had a $100 bill in it or something? How do you prove that?
You don't. But
exactly.
My point is the commission.
It has to be on the record. I will just say for the record, I did call Gino Zamora after the last meeting. He is the one that came and did the ethics training. Mm-hmm. And he said best practices, do not take handouts at a commission meeting. And what he instructed me to do was to let them know that they can give it to either the city clerk or the city manager, and that they will email it to us, and that way it is on the record.
All that needed to happen the other night was give a copy to the clerk so she could enter it into the record.
Yeah, well, when you give 7 people a handout, how do you prove that the handout he gave us is the same one he gave the clerk?
So what's the difference between the handouts we get in our box that are handwritten notes from Mr. Summers?
Because they're given to us by, our stuff is open.
Sorry, guys.
And it's given to us by the clerk. Is it not?
That.
Am I wrong? That all mail is opened and given to us by the clerk who has stamped it in?
That is correct.
If he'd have handed it to us in the parking lot, What's the difference?
We're not in a public meeting.
The letters.
We're not in, okay, it doesn't
I'm not
really
going
matter.
to I'm not here to argue
Fine.
with you, but we violated.
I'm just telling you that the attorney that I spoke with said that we should not be doing that, and that I will not do that. Everybody can do what they want,
Well,
but I will not do that.
If that's the case, then you need to put it on the agenda, and the commission needs to approve that rule. Because going back to that resolution in 2012 that staff provided, there's absolutely nothing
Okay.
in that resolution
fine.
that states that rule.
That's fine, then you probably should make it an item on the
I'm
agenda.
not going to make it an item. I don't really
Okay.
care.
Then- Then there's nothing to discuss, let's move on.
Then why argue this? If you want something submitted at a meeting, send it in advance. Easy. Afterwards, the commission adjourned into an executive closed session. You can see the entire meeting on the City of Alamogordo Facebook page. This Saturday is the annular or Ring of Fire eclipse. Sunspot Observatory has the perfect spot to see the action.
We'll have solar telescopes set up out there it's an H-alpha telescope, and sunspotters will be set up for people to look through. Then our telescope that's still actively used, the Dunn Solar Telescope, that will be open to the public.
The event opens at 8 and the eclipse happens shortly after 9. The event is free. Call 575-434-7190 for details. Coming up on the last Saturday of October, Grace Methodist Church will have Family Day at the Patch. We spoke with Shelley.
We'll have lots of pumpkins, lots of games. We're going to have a whole lot of kind of little downscale carnival games going on. All free of charge, except, of course, what you buy from the craft vendors or from the food truck.
That's at 1206 Greenwood Lane in Alamo. Call 575-437-7640 if you have any questions. Well, today is Wednesday. Time now for our weekly report from Love Inc. with Susan Payne.
Hey, good morning, Alamogordo. This is Susan with Love Inc. of Otero County with our weekly update. Let's start off with this Saturday. We are taking our classes on the road. We're going to be in Tularosa at First Baptist Church, where we are presenting Redemptive Compassion. If you work in an area that does outreach for people or helps people, you're not going to want to miss this class. Or if you're just curious, if you're just somebody who doesn't really know what the right way or what the best way to help somebody is, then this class is for you. It starts at 9 o'clock. It's at First Baptist Church in Tularosa. And you can give us a call at 575-439-4812 for more information. It is a one-day class. It's all day, and lunch will be provided. Also, on October 21st, we're having our annual golf tournament. That's at Desert Lakes Golf Course. If you are interested in registering a team, you can call the golf course and talk to Jason out there, and he would be happy to sign you up for that. We are still looking for sponsors, so if you would like to be a whole sponsor, it's just $100, and of course, it's for a great cause. And then, of course, we have some title sponsors as well, if you're interested. On the 19th of October, we're going to be at Mountain View Middle School. They're having a family night there, and we're going to be there. We're going to have a table set up, and, of course, that'll have all our information on it as well. And then coming up, and I don't have a firm date yet, but just keep it filed in the back of your mind, we are going to be doing some training for the VITA program. That's the VITA tax program, and that helps low-income individuals with their tax returns. So if you are interested in learning how to do taxes, and it's a great way to help people out, you'll get some free training, and that will be coming up in the near future, and we're partnering with Thrive of Southern New Mexico on that. That is about all for now. Everybody have a blessed week. Enjoy the beautiful weather, and we will talk to you again next Wednesday.
News from around the state in just a moment. This is Alamogordo Town News on Crazy Radio. I'm Anthony Lucero.
Directory Plus is the right size book. It's the book if you need a phone book.
That's what just one person has to say about Directory Plus. With its red cover, features, colorful yellow pages, and lots more, it's no wonder people all over use Directory Plus.
It has so much more information. You can cross-check phone numbers or addresses or pretty much anything.
Look on the plus side, Directory Plus.
I'm a big fan of Directory Plus.
AlamogordoTownNews.com is a locally owned website featuring local news matters from a local perspective that affects you, and we bring it to you directly. Plus, local sports, cultural arts, and events. Online, AlamogordoTownNews.com. Owned and operated by Second Life Media. We are Otero County.
New Mexico State Police have arrested an Albuquerque man wanted in an infant's death. According to the New Mexico State Police, 30-year-old Lawrence Gabaldon was arrested in Albuquerque last week without any issues. He was arrested on an outstanding federal absconder warrant for violations of conditions of parole. Gabaldon is a person of interest in the death of an infant at an Albuquerque hotel. Police say the hotel room was littered with drugs and drug residue. The baby's mother has already been charged in this case as well. Not guilty. That's the plea for 2 of the 3 men accused of shooting and killing 11-year-old Froylin Villegas in an alleged mistaken identity revenge attack. Villegas died when those suspects allegedly fired into his family's vehicle in early September. Froylin's cousin, Tatiana Villegas, was also seriously injured. All 3 suspects, Daniel Gomez, Nathan Garley, and Jose Romero, were in court yesterday. Gomez pled not guilty a week after the Bernalillo County District Attorney's Office announced they would not be fighting to keep him locked up before trial.
We've received information from APD from their investigation that this defendant did not have an active role in the shooting, and therefore, based on that information, we no longer felt proceeding with the pretrial detention motion was appropriate at this time.
That was Chief Deputy District Attorney Natalie Lyon speaking with KOB. The District Attorney's Office will now review Gomez's charges in the shooting. Meanwhile, both Garley and Romero will remain in jail. Garley is the alleged shooter. He entered a plea of not guilty. Romero, the alleged driver, appeared in court but is switching attorneys, so his plea is expected in the coming days. An inmate at the Sandoval County Detention Center was charged after being allegedly found with narcotics. A corrections officer did a routine cell pod check on September 29th and found an inmate under the influence of a drug. The initial prisoner was strip-searched, but no illegal substances were located. That officer found 5 other inmates showing similar signs of drug influence. An inmate informant told police that 37-year-old inmate Mark Herrera was likely the one with the drugs. He was searched and found to have 115 fentanyl pills, over 3 grams of methamphetamine, and 63 orange strips of the opioid Suboxone. He's been charged with bringing contraband into jail. The first inmate to be searched was taken to get medical treatment. Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham held a news conference yesterday alongside other state officials to provide an update on the public safety initiatives. The fate of her public health order is still under a preliminary hold, specifically on the gun restrictions. Other parts of the order are still in effect, including a surge of New Mexico State Police in the Albuquerque metro to help with reducing and discouraging violent crime.
We're looking for sustainable, long-term impacts that will stay the course so that our communities are safer. Every single New Mexican deserves that, and there's not a single New Mexican who isn't impacted by our public safety challenges and, quite frankly, this epidemic and crisis.
The governor claims there has been a decrease in shots fired in Albuquerque. She also said that there have been more arrests and more defendants are going to jail. So she says her plan is working. Sports and weather are next. You're listening to Alamogordo Town News on Crazy Radio. I'm Anthony Lucero.
They are role models and educators. Their work requires a great deal of time and energy for very little pay. Who are these unsung heroes?
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
The simple truth about education-based athletics in New Mexico is this. Without a committed team of coaches and administrators, they just wouldn't be possible. School sports, they bring out the best in all of us. This message presented by the New Mexico Activities Association and the New Mexico Athletic Directors Association.
There are 5 matches for New Mexico volleyball today, including Mountain Air at Carrizozo. 7 games for New Mexico football tomorrow, including Lordsburg at Magdalena and Goddard at Mayfield. Your Crazy Radio spot on weather forecast for the Tularosa Basin today calls for sunny skies, winds gusting as high as 25. Mostly clear tonight, winds gusting as high as 23. Sunny tomorrow, winds gusting as high as 24. Your high today in the Basin, 82. Low tonight, 58. High tomorrow, 79 degrees. In Cloudcroft, sunny skies and windy. Winds are going to be gusting as high as 40 miles per hour. Mostly clear tonight and windy, gusts as high as 43. Sunny tomorrow and windy, gusts as high as 43. Your high today for Cloudcroft, 61, low tonight 42, high tomorrow 57 degrees. Local breaking news can be found on our website, alamogordotownnews.com, and learn more about Crazy Radio by visiting kalhradio.org. We've also launched the Crazy KALH Radio YouTube channel, which will feature our daily newscasts, complete interviews, and other information which concerns everyone in the Tularosa Basin. We want to take a moment to thank those that have subscribed to our channel. If you have not done so already, please do so. That way you too can be notified whenever news breaks in the basin. That concludes today's edition of Alamogordo Town News on Crazy Radio. I'm Anthony Lucero.